Imagine you're about to walk into a meeting. The atmosphere is tense, the stakes are high, and how you solve this can either diffuse the situation or it can cause it to spiral out of control, affecting your project, your team, and maybe your job. We've all been there, but the question is, how do you handle this? What method do you use? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to tackle. My name's Brandon from Peak Life, where we journey together to design, build, and live our own peak life. In my years of leading teams in both construction and high-stakes manufacturing, I've seen a lot. I've had good conversations, and I've had plenty of bad conversations that I wish I would have handled differently. But over the years, I've learned that the difference between disaster and a dialogue is a method that I came up with that I call the C.A.L.M approach. So if you want to learn how to navigate these treacherous waters, you're not going to want to miss this. Let's dive in. In the C.A.L.M approach, we have C for compassion, A for assertiveness, L for listening, and M for mindfulness. Let's get started with the C for compassion. With compassion, it's not just about understanding where the other person's coming from. It's also about showing that you care. And I've learned this the hard way. Early in my career, and if I'm being honest, on some of my not so good days, I can be quick to dismiss a team member's feedback in a project review. In one example, I bulldozed their concerns, and this created a rift that took months to heal. And through those months, I read the book by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And in that, there's a part that Dale Carnegie says, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in them than you can by spending years trying to get people interested in you. This really hit home. And since then, I've taken more of an approach by asking my team what their thoughts are before I ever express any of my own. And in the example that I shared, this not only resolved the issue, but it also turned that person into one of my greatest allies. So then the question comes up, how do you show compassion? Well, you can start by, instead of getting upset, ask yourself, what could this person be going through? What do I know about the situation that they don't? And how can I get them to the same speed that I'm at? And how to do this is by listening more than you speak. And when you do speak, ask better questions. Become interested in that other person and show that you value their perspective. Compassion can truly diffuse a bomb in your team. And it starts with genuine interest in the other person's feelings and their point of view. Now moving on to A for assertiveness. Assertiveness is not dominating a conversation. Instead, it's about respecting yourself and the other person enough to be direct by speaking frankly and openly. It's what Marshall Rosenberg in Nonviolent Communication calls speaking your truth without blame or judgment. Just recently, I was negotiating a deal with a supplier, and their proposal was not good enough that we could accept it. So instead of beating around the bush, I did talk openly and frankly by laying out exactly what we needed and going over why it was important to us. To my surprise, they appreciated it. And then they were able to express what was important to them, and we got to a great win-win solution with no drama and no compromise. A tip on being assertive without hurting the other person's feelings is by using the word I. So in statements, you should say, I feel like X when Y happens. Instead of using the phrase, you make me feel X when Y happens. When you use the word I instead of blaming the other person with you, it opens up the space for constructive dialogue. Next up, we have L for listening. Thomas Erikson's Surrounded by Idiots book drives home this point, that listening isn't just waiting for your turn to speak. It's actively trying to understand the other person's message behind their words when they are speaking. I'm sure we've all had this happen, and I know I do it more often than I care to admit. But a few months back, I remember a conversation where I was so focused on waiting for the right time to interject my own thoughts that I completely missed the other person's point of view and what they were trying to say. And because of this, we missed out on a great opportunity. Since then, I try to really listen and not just wait for my turn to speak. And from this, I've learned that really listening can give you the point of views to solve the real heart of the problem before they grow into something that's unsolvable. Active listening is a game changer. It means making eye contact, smiling, nodding, engaging with the other person, and perhaps most importantly, to summarize what the other person is saying so that they know that you heard and understood them. This shows respect, which is absolutely crucial for a deeper connection. And lastly, in the C.A.L.M approach, we have M for mindfulness. Mindfulness is about being present in the moment, aware of your thoughts and your feelings, but not ruled by them. In the book Surrounded by Bad Bosses and Lazy Employees, Erikson shows just how easy it is to let your past interactions and frustrations dictate your judgments and reactions. Mindfulness is the anchor that keeps you grounded in the here and now. As a person with the ENTJ commander personality type, I've had people sit across from me and challenge my patience, saying that I'm just not patient. But by staying focused on the present and using this approach, I've been able to make sure that they feel seen, heard, and understood, and prevented that conversation from escalating into arguments. So I challenge you, before your next tough conversation, take a few deep breaths to be present. Make sure your phone's put away and that you don't have anything else on your desk or computer that you're going to start multitasking with. This simple act of mindfulness can keep you calm and collected no matter what's going on. So let's bring it all together. The C.A.L.M approach, which is compassion, assertiveness, listening, and mindfulness, is a powerful tool for any leader. And just last week I used this that helped me turn a potential team fallout into a great decision and strategy session. We addressed issues without blame. We listened to each other's point of view and understood their feelings. And because of this, we came out stronger on the other side with more trust in the team. Remember, mastering tough conversations is a skill. And like any skill, it requires time and practice to hone. So I recommend you read up on the books I mentioned: How to Win Friends and Influence People, Nonviolent Communication, and Surrounded by Idiots. So thank you for listening. That's a wrap on the C.A.L.M approach. I would love to hear down below how you handle tough conversations at work or in your home life. If you enjoyed this video, check out the video up here where I share how to transform your day for success with an engineer's mindset. Thanks for watching.